Hey, feel I'm in the mood for a switch up.
What's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop Chess, so y'all know my slogan, life is a game of chess. If y'all looking at my content for the first time and you're the one that want to get better in chess, whether it's opening, middle game, or end game, or maybe on my channel because you want to be entertained with the live bullet and blitz games that I play online, or maybe you want to find out not only how to be successful on the chessboard, but also successful in life. If this is you, make sure you hit that notification bell on, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And guys, if you have any questions and any content that you want me to share, make sure you drop that comment below and I will give you the content that you requested. Without further ado, let's actually get right to this video. Alright guys, peace! Hey, what's going on, chess lovers? This is Maurice Bishop Chess. So y'all know my slogan, life is a game of chess. Guys, I have a beautiful game that I want to share with y'all with the black line that I played. My opponent played some, I don't want to say unorthodox move, but this might be something that your opponent may play on you. And I just want to share with y'all some techniques that you can actually use to defeat your opponent if they play this type of variation. So without further ado, we're actually going to get started. So my opponent plays e4, I go d6, and he goes d3. So you're probably dealt with a position like this, guys, where somebody just go d3. All right, so I just go e5, f4 is played, and I go knight b to d7, knight f3, c6, and then c4. Now, guys, just to give you a whole concept of what White's plan is. Now, usually White's plan is this come off as like an English opening because of this c4 pawn. But it's crazy though because it come off as an English, but then again it come off as like a Dutch almost. And the reason why I say this, guys, is even though the pawn formation is not the same, but the thing is usually the knight will come to c3 and then knight will come to d5. But the problem with this type of position is the pawn is on c6, so the knight is not going to be able to get to d5 or b5. So this could become a problem. So now White is going to have to figure out what he needs to do. F4 is usually played, guys, because usually they want to go bishop e2, they'll castle, and then once they take this pawn off, their rook will be on an f file where your f7 pawn will be a target. So this is the whole concept of what's White's plan. And this is what y'all need to do. I know a lot of y'all look at a lot of my black line videos, but you need to look at, you know, the move that your opponent's playing. You need to know the move that your opponent is playing and get the concept of what they're trying to do. You know, Sun Tzu, who wrote the book, The Art of War, he always talk about, you know your enemy. So definitely know exactly or try to figure out what your enemy is trying to do. You know, that's the best way to really play chess, guys. You want to think like they think. You know, if you were them, you know, what move do you think they will make? And you want to think of the best move that you think that they will make. And then you want to prepare for it. All right. So after c4, guys, I go queen c7. They go knight c3, and I go knight f6. Bishop e3 is played. H6. H3 is played. And I go bishop e7 because I'm just developing my pieces, guys. But also, guys, y'all probably thinking, well, how the heck he's going to get to g5? Well, we'll look into that, guys. So bishop b7, then bishop b2, and then I go a5. Now, guys, I go a5 because again, I want to make sure that White is not going to do any rook b1 or b4. I just want to stop any type of queenside attack. So I was prepping for it. So I go a5. Now, guys, now there is another move that Stockfish recommended. Stockfish recommended knight h5 instead of a5. And this is only due to the fact that because his pawn is on f4, he has a pawn on h3, and now this g3 square is a weakness. So with knight h5, he may go f5, and you go knight g3. You're attacking the rook, and you're also attacking the light square bishop. With rook g1, a6, and usually a6 is a move because eventually we want to prepare for b5. But also, guys, we also may want to prepare maybe B6 and I'm sorry, B6, and then not D5 right away. But once this B6 come here, then we'll have Bishop B7 and then D5, guys, which is another thing that you can actually think of, that you can actually do, because this light square bishop, because his F5 pawn is here, the light square bishop is inactive. So you got to get that light square bishop as active as possible. So remember that, guys. If everything is closed in like this, you know, especially with this F5 pawn, you want to be able to go B6 and then get this bishop on B7. You know, you want to make your light square bishop active as possible. And also the principle is, guys, you want to get all your pieces into play. That's what you want to do. So after like A6, King F2, Knight catches E2, Queen catches E2, and then B5. And Black will have a actually really good game. And the reason why I say this, guys, because even with B5, he can threat B catches C4 because we'll have an open Rook B file, which is what we want. The King can't castle no ways, so the King is technically still in the center of the board. So and that's what we like, guys. And another thing about this, if this knight moves anywhere out the way, we are threatening bishop h4 if this knight is completely out the way, you know. And then eventually, guys, we probably could go on g5, you know, or you know, maybe rook g8, so we could still exploit the white king. So this is just some an idea that y'all can actually do in your own games if somebody play something like that. So that's just something that y'all can look into. All right, guys. So after the A5 move that I did, my opponent plays F5, and I go Rook G8. Rook G8, I love Rook G8, but also, guys, again, like I told y'all before, B6 would be probably a better move because, again, we want to get this light square bishop active as possible. So G4 is played, G5, and then King F2, and then, guys, I finally go B6. Again, B6, I want to go bishop B7, and then I want to go D5. So Queen D2, I go bishop B7. He goes Rook AG1. And the whole point, guys, when he goes Rook AG1, I already know that he wants to go H4. He wants to go H4 so that he can open up my king side even more, and then somehow bring this rook on the 7th rank to get closer to my king. So again, so when people do that, you gotta understand exactly the moves that they're making. So just don't make moves just to make moves. You gotta figure out why your opponent is making that move. When you start actually thinking that way, why your opponent is making that move, and you try to prep it before, then I'm telling you, you will win a lot more games like that. Because a lot of times y'all make a lot of y'all try to think of the move order, you know, of the black line, or just any opening moves. Y'all try to figure out the opening moves instead of thinking of, okay, why is my opponent making this move? If you think why my opponent is making this move, then that's when you'll start to develop y'all critical thinking. Y'all really start to develop, you know, a solution of playing better chess. All right. So just get in the habit of that. All right. So Rook AG1, I go D5. C captures D5, C captures D5, E captures D5, and Knight captures D5. And then my opponent goes H4, which I wasn't worried about that. So yeah, so after H4, guys, I decided to go Knight catches E3, and I'm gonna tell you why. I go Knight catches E3, guys, because I have a dark square bishop. This king is on a dark square. I want to create dark square weaknesses within the king, which is why that's what I wanted to do. So that's why I go Knight catches E3. So when the queen catches E3, guys, I go bishop C5. Now, guys, when I did this, I feel as though I did a mistake because, again, I don't know why maybe I had tunnel vision, but when he goes D4, which is what he played, you know, I go back to bishop B7. Now, I found out, guys, that bishop C5 wasn't technically a mistake because after D4, I also found out, guys, after my after the game when I did my analysis, I realized, guys, that I could have did bishop captures F3. I could have did that move. And for some reason, guys, I did see this move when I was thinking about it. I did see this, but the thing that messed me up was, for some reason, I was nervous about the knight b5 move. But then, come to find out, I had nothing to worry about because after queen c6, even if he goes bishop catches f3, because I saw this move, but I realized after queen catches on b5, he cannot go bishop captures a8 because I still had bishop captures d4. So this was actually a really good. This would have been really good. So bishop c5 was the correct move that I did. I just failed to follow through with it because for some reason I was nervous about the um, that score with the queen and a rook. But then I found out he couldn't even take my rook because bishop catches d4. And then another thing about this, guys, even if he doesn't take the rook, let's say he goes d catches c5. Even if he goes d catches c5, I could just move my rook over, and I'm still good, guys. Like I'm still good. And then I have queen catches b2 with a check as well. And then black will be really good in this game. Like black will really have a good game. Like this game, I'm comfortable with this position, so I had nothing to worry about. And it's another thing that you also need to think about. A lot of times, when y'all playing a black line, you may have opponents that it may seem like they're getting you and then like they're crushing you, but in reality, guys, you you are the black lion player. Black lion players, they don't get nervous under pressure. They always follow through with an attack. And even when you feel as though they got you or whatever, you always have something under your sleeve. So always remember that, guys. Never be nervous about the moves that they play because you will always have something under your sleeve. But you just gotta play it correctly, you know. All right, so but yeah, guys, I would have been good in this position. So, but yeah, I went bishop b7. The crazy part, guys, even Stockfish even recommended bishop b7, but then um they did recommend bishop catches f3 as well. But I think this was like the second best move with bishop b7. It was either bishop catches f3 or bishop b7. I chose the bishop b7. So either way, I was still good. So ace catches g5, ace catches g5, and then my opponent goes knight b5, hitting my queen. I wasn't nervous about it at all. I go queen b8, and again, guys, I wasn't really nervous about this position because again, you can't really go here because of this bishop on c5, which is really good. Because the thing is, guys, even if knight d4, um, there's just a lot of things I can actually do. So like for instance, let's see what Starfish say. So Starfish, yeah. So this is what I was thinking. Bishop catches f3. If bishop catches f3, um, queen catches e5 would be good. Yes, you're thinking I'm hanging my rook, but look at this, guys. If queen captures, we go knight catches e5. If he takes the rook, we got bishop captures on d4 check. And then if he comes here, we have bishop captures on g1. If he takes, we go king e7. And black is actually still good in his position. So it doesn't even really matter. Even if he goes bishop d5, we have rook d8, rook d1, and then king f6. And I think black is still good. Um, it's not like winning or whatever, but uh, each player has some type of chances though. So I don't think it's bad for black at all. So just keep that in mind. All right, so after the rook c1, I saw rook c1 and I saw how he was threatening knight c7 on check, hitting my king and then my rook. So guys, again, this is what I was talking about earlier. It may seem like your opponent may have some attack and it may seem like he has some type of advantage, but again, when you're a black lion player, you always have something under your sleeve or whatever. So, and this is what I been telling y'all. So, what was my thought in this game? So, my thought in this game was, even though I saw this threat knight c7 check, where he's forking my king and my rook, I wanted to do something where I could counterattack it. So my plan was I did E catches D4 guy. This is the move that I played. I played this move. The reason why I played this move because guys, after knight C7 check, if he still tried to do that, I still have queen catcher C7. Because the guys he can't. I mean, he could go rook catcher C7, but then I'll take with check and everything, and I pretty much would be great. But even if white tried to do something similar, queen catches e7, I would go king catches e7. If he goes rook catches c7, then I have bishop catches f3. If bishop catches f3, then I have rook ac8, trying to gain the c file. If for some reason rook hc1, I will go rook captures. He would take, and then I go king d6, guys. And then even if he goes rook c6, I go king e5, and I believe black is actually better in this position. And the reason why I say black is better because the king is already in the center of the board. So guys, if you understand endgame principles, they talk about in the endgame you want to put your king as far in the center as possible. You know, especially because guys, I have a pass pawn too, which can potentially become very dangerous. This rook cannot attack this b6 pawn because my knight on d7 is already guarding that. You know, so I think black has some big chances of actually winning this game. You know, so this is something that I'm good with my end game. So this is something that I can actually play and I'm actually comfortable with. All right, and that's another thing I recommend y'all guys. Definitely study y'all end games. Study y'all end games a lot more. All right, um, so yeah, so after E catches D4, my opponent he actually goes Queen B3, and of course, guys, again, you have to like when your opponent make moves, you need to really think to yourself, okay, why did he play that move? Know your enemy, guys. Why did he play this move? So when he played Queen B3, guys, I already know that he's already trying to threat Rook A7, so he can threat some checkmates on me. So I knew that's what he was trying to do. So guys, so what I did in this position, guys, I did Bishop C5, which is what I did. I think the best move probably would have been Knight C5. Let's say if Knight C5 and let's say Rook catches C5. If Bishop catches C5, Rook A7 because he's threatening checkmate, right? And a lot of people will get nervous about this. Now look at this, guys. If they do that, you do have D3 check which do come into play, and you're already hitting the light square bishop. And let's actually see what Stockfish would say. If King G2, then guys, I have Rook F8. If Queen catches D3, Queen F4. This becomes very crazy, guys. You know, because I'm threatening Queen catches G4 check. You know, if King H3, I have Rook D8. You know, I'm on a D file, and it almost seems like White was like getting at, like really getting me, but in reality, he's really not at all. And even Starfish is saying it though. So, I like this for Black. A lot of people feel uncomfortable with the king still being the center of the board, but in reality, the king is actually more in trouble than anything else. You know, so. And like I said, guys, y'all can analyze this game yourself. If y'all have any other things that y'all see that or that y'all feel that y'all see in a position, definitely comment below. All right, guys. So instead of knight c5, guys, I go bishop c5. That's literally where I go. My opponent goes bishop d3. And I go queen f4, guys. And I think bishop d3 was a mistake because he really gave me an advantage here. Because, guys, I'm threatening queen captures f3 check. You know, also with some mating attacks. But also, guys, if this rook moves out the way, he's going to lose his rook. Like, if he tries to defend with rook h3, he's going to lose his rook. In which, guys, that's pretty much what my opponent did. He goes rook h3. And then I go queen captures c1, taking his rook. And I believe he did it, guys, because of knight c7 check, you know, of getting a rook. But it all backfires on him because after knight c7 check, guys, I go king f8, and he could have. And to be honest with you guys, he could have still he didn't take. He actually goes Rook A7 trying to threat checkmate on me. But again, it seems like white is about to destroy black, but it doesn't happen that way. Um, but before I get to that, let's look at something. Let's look at Knight catchers A8. Like if he would have took this rook. If he would have took this rook, I would have went Queen E3 check. If King F1, then guys, I will just go Bishop catches A8 first. I'll take the knight off first, and then also guys, I'm still threatening Bishop catches F3. If Queen D1 trying to defend this knight, then guys, I will go Knight E5. And the reason why this is such a great move, guys, because Knight can't capture on E5 because of Queen captures H3 with a check. I win a rook and I get him in check as well. So Knight captures E5 wouldn't work. If he goes Queen E2, guys, I have another beautiful move, which is Knight catches D3. And then obviously, guys, I believe white will resign in his position due to the fact that he can't take my knight, obviously, guys, because he'll lose his queen. The only thing he could probably do is take my queen, and then I'll take his queen back with D captures E3. And then, guys, he can't go King E2 because of Knight E3 check, and then I'm winning his rook on H3. And then I still have this beautiful pass pawn, and then my bishop will be attacking the knight next, and this game is pretty much all over. Alright, guys, so instead of taking my rook, which I feel as though if he took my rook, he was going to lose. So which is why he tried another alternative, which is Rook A7, trying to threaten me. But obviously, guys, I see all of that. I go Queen E3 check, King F1. I go Queen catches F3 check, King E1, Bishop B4 check, in which I do Bishop B4 check because technically this would be checkmate. But of course, the only way he could stop the checkmate is giving up his queen, which is what he was forced to do. I take back with A catches B4. He tried to fight some more with Bishop F7, trying to threat on checkmate with Rook catches F7. But then, guys, I hit him with Knight E5. And of course, he resigned after this. As you can see, there is literally nothing that he can do in his position. Even after Bishop E3, I still have Queen E3 check. It doesn't really matter where he goes. Doesn't matter where he goes because I have Bishop F3 check. If he does goes what you call it, King C2, Queen D3 check, King C1, and then and if I want, guys, I could just go Rook C8 if I want to. And there's literally nothing that he can do. He can't save his knight. He can't do anything, guys. And this is just pretty much all over. Even after Bishop C2, Rook captures, and this is just all over after this, guys. Pretty much over. Yeah, this is over after this. So yeah, guys. I hope y'all actually enjoyed this video, guys. I hope y'all really learned a lot from this video, especially with the new techniques that I just shared with y'all in this video. Definitely like, share, comment. Let me know what you think, and also, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, guys. Peace.